No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
And here we go. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. It's a beautiful day out. No clouds up in the sky. The sun is just starting to come up right now as I'm recording this podcast. It's a beautiful sight. Nice orange glow. It's nice. I love this time of the morning because this is the time when everything begins to start moving around. Squirrels are out there playing. Now, these squirrels I don't like very much because they play a little bit too much and they eat up too much. And they're up on my roof and they're running around. Silly squirrels. Anyway. Say, as you are thinking about tonight's State of the Union, I want you to remember something. I read an article this morning. The title of it was, FTX wants politicians' PACs to return donations and may sue to recover funds. So here this guy was giving away all this money to politicians, the ones that are going to be sitting there in the State of the Union. Okay, they're going to be sitting there, they're going to be clapping, they're going to be booing. They even may say liar. But here we have a bunch of people who have no ethics whatsoever and took money from a fraudster. And FTX and the guy that started FTX said that, listen, give me back the money so I can return it back to the investors. Now, I have not seen one single politician address this issue. Not one single one. So as they're sitting there and waiting to run out to talk to the press should really ask each and every single one of those politicians, are you going to give the money back to FTX? Are you going to give the money back to the investors? The public request echoed previous statements, but set a February deadline. So they have set a February deadline, FTX, to politicians, give it back or we're going to sue you. We're going to take you to court. So as the president stands up there and lies to you, the people down in the audience, all of those people who took donations from FTX, ask yourselves, where is the ethics of these individuals? Where are they? And are they going to do it? And if one of those individuals is your member of Congress or Senate or organization, ask them, are you going to give back the money? Because that is the ethical and right thing to do. If they don't have an answer, you don't hear from them, you voted in the wrong person for that job as a member of Congress or the Senate. Because ethics has to be there. Ethics has got to drive them to do what is right and not what is financially good for them. Maybe it's one of you people know out there. I haven't done the research, but I'm just wondering, when politicians raise all of this money and it goes into their campaign funds, and let's say they have money left over in their campaign funds. Sometimes they have a couple million. I think AOC had a couple million left in hers. What happens to that money? Let's say they're not going to run anymore. And they're going to leave Congress. Do they get to keep that money? I don't know the answer to that. So if one of you out there knows what happens to excess campaign funds when they don't use it up in their campaigns, what happens to that money? What is the law behind it? I don't know. So if one of you know, please send me an email to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. I'd like to know. I'd like to know the answer to that. So if we look at the economic news today, we're not seeing some very good news. Amazon is cutting back on their on their flights. They fly all this cargo all over the place. So they announced that Amazon is dialing back on cargo, because everything gets flown. All that stuff that you buy, and it gets flown someplace, or it goes by train. But they have a company that's called Prime Air out there, and Prime Air is citing that lower demand and slower economic growth. So they're cutting back on the usage of planes because they just are seeing a bad economy going forward in 2023. Now, as the president stands up there and talks to you about how great the economy is, I also want you to remember that story, but I also want you to remember that today, Dell Computer is to lay off 5% of their workforce, which is about 5,000 employees. So again, you have to ask, how good is Biden's economy? If he's going to stand up there and lie to us that the economy is great, jobs are being created, those jobs that are being created, by the way, are people getting second jobs and third jobs, trying to meet expectations at home of what they need to buy and what they need to pay for. Heating, electrical, car payments, insurance payments, food, which is probably the biggest one on there, is food. They can't afford it because their wages have not kept up with the rate of inflation. So I want you to, as you're listening to, if you're going to do it, if you're going to listen to the State of the Union, I want you to remember all of these things that are happening in the economy and around us, and how you're experiencing the economy at the moment. How many of you are really struggling out there? How many of you are saying each day, my gosh, how am I going to meet that bill? How am I going to pay that electrical bill? How am I going to pay that gas bill? And then we have politicians out there saying, unemployment is down. The economy is good. Gas prices are down, which now they're starting to go back up. It went up 13 cents between last week and this week. Went up 40 cents between the month before. So you have a suspicion in your mind that someone's lying to us here, or someone just doesn't understand the economy. See, the economy is not about just those job numbers or what Wall Street is doing. That's not the economy. The economy is how you and I are facing the burden of finances every single day. I know it's hard for me too. I'm single. I live by myself. I try to keep my finances down, but it seems like something comes up that costs me 3 times as much as it used to. Or an emergency comes up. Thank God I put some cash away so that I have those emergency funds. But there are times where clients are 30, 60 days behind in paying me. But I still have to keep paying my rent. I still have to keep paying all this other stuff. But a lot of people are not able to do that. So they're behind on the utility bills. I think the last time it was about $900 so that families I think it was 1 in 6 families were behind in their utility bills. And they owed about $900. That's not a good economy. A good economy is when Americans have cash flow positives, not cash flow negatives. And you never hear about the cash flow positives. I wish I could hear about those good stories, because that would make me feel better. But instead what I'm hearing is lies being told by politicians in Washington, D.C. Excuse me, in Washington, D.C. And every day, you and I were having to go out there and try to get a little bit extra money in so that we can meet our obligations that we face every single day. Now, Amazon's been a big company. Amazon has spent a lot of money, and people have made money off of Amazon. But they also know that the economy is not strong. That's why they're citing not a strong economy. You have to, when you look at the economy, you don't just look at the job numbers. You don't look at that. You're looking at everything that's going on. And it's a big picture. And in your mind, you begin to formulate, okay, something is not right here because the story that's being told by Washington, D.C. is not what we're experiencing out here in the real world. So you've got individuals who are out of control in their credit card debt because they are no longer able to afford the high increases of inflation. Heating costs have gone up tremendously, especially in January with the new fuel taxes on natural gas, on heating people's homes. It went up tremendously. And people are now saying, how am I going to meet these obligations? We've had so much happen within the last 2 years because we have had, let me say this way. We do not have any leadership in Washington, D.C. Now, Yellen is out there yesterday saying, we're not going to go into a recession. Our job numbers are great. That's not the only thing that you look is job numbers. When people are going out and get second and third jobs because they can't meet their personal financial obligations, that is not good. That's not a good economy. When you have companies like Amazon and Dell and Yahoo and all these other, Google, who are laying people off because they do not see a strong economy. Because people are not feeling it. Airline tickets just to fly anywhere has gone tremendously up. People who have been planning to get away on vacations and drive can't drive because now gas prices are going back up again. Diesel fuel is going back up again. So Americans are suffering. And that's what you base the economy on. Not what Washington, D.C. says. Not on the job market. Not on what Wall Street is doing. Because Wall Street lives in their own world by themselves. That's what you and I have to live with every single day. As we go to the stores, we try to provide food for our children. As we try to hold on to 2 and 3 jobs so that we can pay our financial obligations. That's what the economy is about. How well are the American people doing? That's the only question the president should be asking. How well are Americans doing? How strong are small businesses? But he's not going to answer that question because, you see, he's so politically driven that he doesn't look outside of that political box and see the pain in the hurt of how Americans are feeling. So we have to look at this very carefully. And as you sit there, remember tonight, as those politicians are sitting there in their nice, comfy chairs, are they going to give back the FTX money? Are they literally going to listen to the pain of America? Or are they going to listen to the lies of a politician who stands in front of them? This is Mike Lodge. Listen, if you have any questions, send it to thebusinessadvisor at zmail.com. And if you want to have more access to me, go to www.lodge-co.com. Talk with you soon. Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye. God bless.